Hey everybody, welcome to Storytime with Frank. It's been a while since I've recorded a video for this channel, so I'm going to get you guys some new videos out there. Today, I'm going to take a bunch of stories, all encompassing, and tell them all at once, and that's of all the major injuries I've ever had, and stories behind them. The first major one that I had was when I was a kid. Well, when I was a kid, I hurt myself a lot. When I was 2, I busted my chin right there. Again, when I was 7, in the same spot. So that's kind of where I wear the goatee. So I had these big old huge scar on my chin. And then, I busted my head open on a slip and slide, and busted my head open on a swing set that fell on me. Got hit by a school bus. Those 3 things happened when we lived in this one house, and a lot of things went on. And I was little then. I was 7 or 8 when all that, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around in there when a lot of that happened. So anyway, my first major injury, I was a sophomore in high school going towards my junior year, and it was the day before the last day of school, and we had finals and all that. And I already knew that I had failed English and I was going to have to go to summer school for I think half of the English. So the night before, a friend of mine was like, let's go over to the store, go hang out. We'll go to the little, there's a little convenience store. It was a little through the neighborhood, then you went over this pedestrian bridge and walked up the street, and it was right there, and we knew the guy that ran it and all that. So we went over there to go get something to drink and probably some chips or something. We saw kids playing basketball at this elementary school, which you could see from the road. You'd have to go down this other road to get there, but we could see them. And so we walk over there, and this kid runs up on me. He runs right at me, runs right up on me, grabs my shirt, says something. I don't remember to this day what he says to me, and he shoves me. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a basketball comes at me, and I put my hands up, and it hits my thumb. And instantly, like, my thumb starts burning and hurting, and it's just going, it's swelling up. So my friend was like, let's get out of here. And so we took off, and those kids were laughing. And I could tell that they were older. They were probably a grade ahead of me in school. And later I found out they were. And so we were at the gas station. Well, I say gas station, it was a convenience store. They didn't have pumps. So we went to a little convenience store, and the guy's like, here, let me get you some ice. Let's call your mom. Let's have her come get you and take you to the hospital. And another friend of ours shows up and says, hey, what happened? He said, I heard you got in a fight at the school. And I'm like, what the hell? It's been like 5-10 minutes. And I said, no. And I told him what happened. And he said, well, I'm going to go get DJ. DJ was this kid, was a junior high. He was in the right grade for the right age. This kid was just tons of muscle. I don't know where he naturally got it from, but he didn't do any drugs or anything like that. And the reason I know that is he actually beat up a drug dealer. And he was, I think, maybe in 8th or 9th grade. And he was one of my really close friends. And if anything ever happened to any of us, or even him for that matter, we stuck up for each other. And so this kid's like, I'm going to go run and get DJ. When we ran and got DJ, I told the guy at the convenience store, and I said, those kids are about to get their ass kicked. I'm going to go watch this. So we run back over to the school, and we're watching through the fence, and DJ goes up and he goes, okay, which one of you hit my friend? And they were like, what are you talking about? And he goes, my friend just came through here. One of you grabbed him and shoved him, and the other one threw a basketball at him, and I want to know who did it. And the 2 kids, later found out they were brothers. They were twins. They weren't identical twins. They weren't even the same size. It was really weird. It's kind of like that movie Twins. So both of them were like, well, we did. Well, DJ punches the shorter one, the blonde one, and he's out cold, one shot. The other one starts yelling at him, that you can't hit my brother, and runs at DJ, and DJ tackles him and just beats the hell out of this kid. And we're talking about this kid's going to be a senior in high school versus DJ, who's like an 8th grader, going to go in the 9th grade. And so needless to say, those kids ended up paying for it dearly. But we went to the hospital that night. They put me in a temporary cast, and they weren't sure exactly what was wrong with my hand. So the next day I went to school. I think I took 3 finals, and we were supposed to be there the whole day. And my mom had talked to the vice principal, and he said, "Take your finals." He said, and "We'll just fix it where once you're done with one, let us know, and we'll move you to the next class." Because I had to go. I mean, I had to go to see a specialist. I ended up seeing the specialist who worked on the Texas Rangers, and I had split all the ligaments of my thumb. So basically, they had split, and they were just sitting there. They normally, when you split ligaments and things like that, they roll back up in your arm because they're stretched, and for some reason these had caught and they hadn't gone anywhere. So they ended up having to do surgery, and I think it probably took a little over a year to get motion back, and I still don't have it all the way. I mean, I can't bend my thumb over all the way. So that's the first major one. Second major thing that probably happened, besides multiple concussions and car accidents and crazy stuff, I actually broke my tailbone, and I was in my early 20s, I think, when that happened. I'm trying to think when that happened. But anyway, I used to do inline skating and, of course, jump over stuff and grind down rails and act like a moron. And I jumped over this wall, knowing that there was a drop on the other side, but there was concrete, and I figured if I fell, I would just fall and probably fall on my side or whatever, or, wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'd roll and get back up. Well, when I was going over this little wall, the front of one of my skates caught. When it did, it kind of pulled me around. When I fell on a parking curb. And somebody had taken, those concrete parking curbs, and they had turned it up onto the regular curb and had waxed it because they were skateboarding over there. And I ended up hitting it, and I broke my tailbone. And when I say I broke my tailbone, even to this day, it's not attached. It's broke and slid down. So it's not even attached to anything anymore. And that was the first bone I ever broke. And then I ended up having, the next major thing that had happened to me was my neck. And I have a scar right there, and I have a plate and 4 screws in my neck. I'd ruptured a disc in my neck. It was just over time. If you don't lift things the right way, after a while your back just gives up. And so that's basically what happened. I was actually taking a shower, and I was drying my hair, and when I lifted my head up, it had been giving me problems, and my neck had been really stiff, and basically the vertebrae just crunched it. And when it did, I was done. I ended up going by helicopter to the hospital. They told me it was a muscle spasm because they didn't have any idea what they were talking about. Took me a couple of weeks to get to the point where I could drive back to Austin, and because I had already been living in Austin at the time. This happened in December of 2003 is when this rupture happened. And then I came back, saw my regular doctor. He sent me to a specialist, and in May I ended up having that removed, and the plate and 4 screw and piece of cadaver bone in there. And so now it's really strong. The next thing was probably my left knee. After my mother-in-law passed away, we spent a lot of time working on her house and getting it cleaned out. There was a lot of stuff. The house is huge, 4,000 square feet. So it took us a while to get everything out. And so in the matter of about a month, I'd fallen off a ladder and hit my knee on the ladder. And so my left knee was hurting already. And then we were putting something in my wife's car. She was having an eclipse, and I wasn't paying attention about how long the door was, and I shut the door and my knee was there. So that hurt it. And then I was carrying a table, my father-in-law, and he let go of his end. To this day, I don't know why. And it's not my wife's father, it's her stepfather. So he dropped it, it hit my knee. We went to a local doctor that we know, that's an orthopedic surgeon. Basically, he was like, I can't find anything on the MRI. Everything looks weird in there. We're going to have to open you up. So they ended up opening me up and shaving off the back of the kneecap and then taking out the meniscus that runs on the inside part of my knee. And so that muscle's actually missing now. It's gone. He said it's like when you chew bubble gum and you pull it out and it's just destroyed. So that was that. And then after that, we were going to the coast down to Corpus. We had somebody that we were friends with at the time that lived down there, and we would go down there nearly every weekend or every other weekend. And we loved going to the coast, going to the ocean. And I'm not that strong of a swimmer. I still loved going down there. And we decided to start skimboarding. And at the time, I was a lot lighter than I am now. So I was probably 40 or 50 pounds lighter than I am now. And so we were skimboarding, and I want to say this was in 2008. Yeah. And I threw the skimboard out, and I was doing fine going from right to left, going this direction. I was doing, no, it was the other direction. Was it? Yeah, going, that's my natural way, is going towards the right. So I was doing okay. I decided to do it the other way, threw it into the water, and I had plenty of surf sitting there. So I was riding it, and the water pulled really quick, and when it does, those things suction to the sand. They're even sometimes nearly impossible to pull up because of the surface tension. And so when it did, it threw me over, and I had my hand down to my side, and my hip actually rolled over my wrist. So I ended up breaking my right wrist. And then I went to see a couple of doctors and got x-rays. They're like, it's not broke. We don't know what's wrong with it. And then about 3 months later, I'd say, my wife and I were wrestling around playing. I was tickling her, and she was pushing me, and we were playing around. And so I was trying to get off the bed, and because I tickled her, and she was mad, she was trying to get me. Not like mad, playing around. And so I went to get off the bed, and my foot had wrapped up in the sheet, and I didn't realize it. And so when I tried to get off the bed, it pulled. When it did, I fell over and fell on my right wrist and broke it again. And the reason I know it was broke the second time for sure is because when I got the x-rays that time, they were like, yes, and did you know you had broken your wrist before? And I said, I was in here 3 months ago, and you told me it wasn't broke. Well, come to find out, they said that sometimes when the swelling hasn't gone down enough, because I'd broken it on Saturday and then had the x-rays and everything done on Monday, and they said sometimes they don't show, or it's sitting in the right spot, and so they can't tell. So anyway, they knew it was broke then, and they just put me in a wrist brace, and I ended up developing a cyst in that area now, so I have problems with it too. So other than that, no other health problems. So that's pretty much, I guess, all my major stuff. Knock on wood, I've been doing good and haven't had anything major. I did have a car accident last year, or my truck got smashed, and so I have a few little back problems, but it's not like it, is debilitating. But anyway, there's stories of my injuries. So now you know. So if you see me somewhere out in public and you see me limping, or I can't lift a bag or can't open a door, you know that it's because of these crazy injuries I've had. So hope you enjoy the story. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I got more stories coming. It's a matter of finding time and getting it all uploaded, but I've got more stories coming, so definitely check it out. I also got a daily vlog channel. I've got a kind of rant and rave channel, and then I've got a gaming channel. That video should be online sometime today, so you guys check it all out, and leave me some comments. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll keep the stories coming.